Call this meeting to order at 6:30.
I would make a motion to approve the agenda,
I would second.
get us going.
All those in favor, accept the agenda.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Okay, accept the agenda. Who's here for public comment? Anybody for public comments?
I don't know what you want.
I don't know any of them. I know Todd, that's the only one.
Okay, how about, Royalton Fire District?
I know we got the thing from the lawyer reviewing the plan,
Here
the lease agreement.
I'm sure.
You jinx me every time you say that.
Sometimes people don't see them, and that's worse than the possibility of a jinx.
Yeah, some of the concerns we had, about the lease were brought up by the lawyer. We need to review it, and either, set up a committee, or if everybody wants to be involved in that, we could do that too, but, I guess I'd like to get a feeling for the board here, how much involvement you wanna have in finalizing that lease.
Has it been circulated to them, to the fire?
I did not share it
Yeah.
with the fire district. I figured the board should review
Mhm.
first. And
Decide on the changes.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, the warning and signing and all that was just okay. But it's the terms. The
yeah, and
issue.
there's a couple items that need either research or, we've gotta do something with them. Can't just accept what.
Yeah.
What was said. So, I'd like to know from the board, who wants to be involved in that.
I mean, I can, but I don't want to do it alone.
No, I'll do it.
I prefer not to.
Okay. Patrick?
Sure.
that's a cool
No?
one.
Yeah, it is. I would steer clear of that.
It's fine if you have a quorum, as long as you're aware that you have a quorum, and if you're going to meet, you have to warn it as a legal meeting because you have a quorum and you're discussing town business.
Let's keep it to two.
And Neil, are you okay with that?
I'm fine with me. Yeah.
Okay, so it'll be John and myself. So we'll go over the lawyer's recommendations and see what we have for feedback, and if we need to get back to the lawyer, we'll do that. And report back to the board next meeting.
I can't even, like, I just read it. Probably 10 minutes. before.
That's about what I did.
Yeah, so I gotta digest these.
Could you print it out for us
Sure.
with the comments?
It's the time. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Better just stop it then.
We presented the lease to the lawyer and had some comments that we need to act on, decide on what we're gonna do. So that's where we are. We're gonna meet, go over the comments, and then return those back to you guys when we have some concrete changes.
Okay, maybe in a couple of weeks or so.
Well, it'll probably end up being a couple weeks. We're gonna do our end of it this week, so it'll be next.
I'm gonna
next
be
meeting.
gone the last week of this month, so we do before
We
that.
should have it done before
Yeah.
then. I think we should prepare, the changes to go, we're reviewing with the board here and then present them to you. And so it'll be probably after next, 2 weeks after the next meeting. Thank you. Anything else on the land lease? You guys,
We had nothing.
Yeah.
Since our last
You
meeting.
can see the marks in the pavement that the surveyor put in.
Recently,
I just noticed it today when I walked in.
some pins in.
Yeah,
you know, I think,
could have been what, I know he was doing it a while ago, but
Yeah, maybe came back.
noticed it before.
Yeah.
anyone here for the dog park yet?
Yes, I'm here virtually.
Okay.
Is anyone else coming in for you, Julia?
I don't believe so.
Are you a student or?
Yeah, I'm a student. I'm a sophomore at River Valley High School.
Are you a graduating senior?
I'm a sophomore now.
Have you got something to present to us or?
Yeah, we emailed our proposal to I think Victoria earlier last week as a PDF.
Yeah, there were a couple questions that, at least I had some of the proposed sites you talked about are not town property.
Yeah.
So that's that wouldn't even fall under our jurisdiction.
Okay.
We have had discussion about the dog park in the past and there were proposals. The main concern that we heard was liability. And people are worried about if something happened between dogs or dogs interacting with people or kids. And that's why the liability issue is a concern.
Are there legal guidelines for a dog park? How they're set up?
Must be something.
I'm asking, I don't know.
Yeah,
Do you know?
I am not aware. We're kind of just like throwing the idea out there and seeing if others think there's a need for it, I think.
Well, we hear a lot of it, but I think your proposal needs to be fleshed out more for us.
Okay.
Yeah, the main thing I think you need to decide on is location, because this spot, the town property where the Crawford lot is, we're using it for other things. There are some other town-owned parcels, such as the on Bridge Street in Railton, there's a FEMA property that is not being used for anything at the moment. It was the
Stoddard House.
Stoddard House, yeah. But a couple of the properties that were listed in the proposal were by the Chelsea Street Bridge, which is that's owned by another party. There was a section between the Carpenter Field and the law school, which I believe is law school property. But depending on what happens with Carpenter Field, the rec department would need to be involved in, whether they're gonna actually leave that property. And then there might be a possibility to do something there. I'm trying to think what the other.
Well, the green,
The green?
did you propose the green?
No.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So, Julia, this is Victoria. I'm the town administrator. Can I ask what your intent was with your proposal? Like, are you guys looking to just come to the select board and say like, hey, we have this idea and we're looking for you guys to pick it up and run with it? Or are you looking for more of like, we have this idea for a project, we want to learn more about how to accomplish this sort of thing, like, and get some help to like sit down and talk about it and see what goes into it and develop a plan, because I can't speak for the board, but like, I personally would be happy to like have the conversation about like, this is how it goes to do a municipal project. If you want to do something in town, like this is what it takes, and help you guys do that. If you kind of like, what's your objective?
Yeah, I think we're definitely interested in learning more about like how to facilitate this or like what would need to come forward. So we're definitely interested in learning what would need to come next and working with the board.
Good research project for you over the summer.
Yes.
And Julia, can you remind me what, this is Nell, by the way, on the select board. What was the class, it says, your, writing group that you have, how did this come about? If you don't
Yes,
mind.
so we are it's an expository reading and writing class at the high school. And this was one of the assignments was coming up with a community action project.
And you, and a bunch of you as students kind of thought this landed on this as an idea for a community project?
Yeah, there was a group of us.
Cool.
Is this like, a community-based learning? Is this facilitated by the school as well?
It's not community-based learning, it's just an English class.
Oh, okay, all right.
So there was a dog park proposal that was in the minutes of the planning commission for, you know, up until the last revision.
Sure.
Do you think you can retrieve that?
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
I'm sure it could, and I'd be happy to spend some time with these guys and sit down with them and talk it through.
Okay, well, I think that would be a good next step, is to meet with Victoria and see what comes out of that.
Can I chat real quick?
And
Yeah.
who are you? Oh, Todd, okay.
This came up at the rec committee meeting too, when we were talking about the Carpenter Fields, Crawford Park, all that fun stuff. So it might be good to loop that group in too, because this was on there for people.
Good idea.
Mhm.
Have we heard anything from the rent about Carpenter Field after their last meeting?
Nothing further yet.
Okay, I haven't seen any.
You
minutes.
went to that meeting, Patrick.
I went to the public meeting. I did not go to the meeting after. I went to the public one too.
Were there a lot of people there?
Not really. No, not a great deal. I mean. 10 maybe, yeah.
That's probably not an unusual first meeting.
Yeah. I think this sort of thing could certainly dovetail with all of those moving pieces.
Yeah.
You know, as far as trying to figure out there's a certain set of properties people keep looking at, and
Yeah.
what do we do with them all, and how do we do it so that it all fits together?
Well, I think there is support for a dog park. In the community. So I think we'll, you know, we'd like to hear what you have, what you come up with.
But I hope the students do all the deep delving into the legalities of what's required and not Victoria doing their work for them.
Well, you might be able to wrangle some help from the law school too,
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah. I'll bet.
Oh,
Law
those are
school.
very interesting.
Love it, yeah.
Yeah, community would love to have a dog park. And say I'll have dogs.
So Julia, I will send you an email separately to try and see if there's a time where we can chat.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Todd's got a hand up.
Todd?
I was just curious where it usually goes to die when it gets here. I know it's been brought up a lot over the years and we still don't have one, so it goes somewhere. Is there a hang up point that's really the biggest issue, or is it just kind of a bunch of little things?
Nobody's taking the lead on it.
Okay, that's
We
fair.
had somebody interested, Sharon Stoddard was interested in starting a dog park here. And that's the proposal that was presented to the planning commission. But she moved out of town. And there it's at. And there was one earlier, a few years before that, somebody wanted to put a dog park somewhere. I think it was down by the river, but once they started looking into, found out that it wasn't town property, I don't know what happened, it just kind of fizzled out. So it's carry through, follow through is probably the biggest problem.
Yeah,
thank you.
I doubt it would be shut down, Todd, if someone was like, I'm gonna make this happen, I think it would probably happen.
And I would add to that, it's been floated that the green be used and the Hope property. We have the community garden down there, but it's very clear that when we repurpose that property, like, I'm not sure how much they want to invest in a property that could be repurposed at, anytime. So, there's a lot of places for it to die.
Yeah, I think it's really important to get the rec committee involved to make sure that two people aren't planning on using the same property for different things.
Yes.
Yeah, I think the idea that I heard that sounded the best as far as location goes was there was a section of land between law school and Carpenter Field that was actually owned by the law school, but you'd have to pull the law school into that, so. Those are all ideas that need to be followed through, checked out, but they aren't
Polar kid.
necessarily,
Win-win for everybody.
they aren't necessarily a town governed project. Okay, any more on the dog park? So, the next up is planning commission, but Gio's not here, so, is John coming from the transfer station? Carrie?
I saw him this afternoon, and he said he is, working rescue tonight, but that he would try to be here.
Okay,
They're on the call.
Oh, they are.
Here.
So his follow-up to that was, he's really, we've talked a few times about doing, accepting credit cards at the transfer station. And the hang up was kind of, how much of the fee for processing the credit cards the town was going to pass on. And so really, we're just looking for, like, do we want to accept credit cards at the dump? If we're going to accept credit cards for the transfer station, how much of the fee are you willing to have come out of the budget or pass on to the consumer?
the consumer has to take,
Right.
And most restaurants are adding 3% or something onto the charge if you use your credit card.
and the popular thing now is to not give you any discount for cash, so.
Yeah.
If you pay by cash, you're actually paying more than you need to, but, no, I don't think it's appropriate for the town to take, to pay for some of the fee, that's my own opinion, but.
I concur.
Do we, with the people use it in the treasurer's office, we had a fee?
So that's a little trickier because it's a separate system. So the treasurer's office and the town clerk we use, it's called Municipay, is the software, and yes, that fee is passed on to the consumer for every transaction.
I know, when you register get your driver's license, they add on a fee if you use a credit card.
We spent, when we took over the transfer station, just to give it a little background, we spent hours on trying to develop a cashless system.
Yeah,
And it's never gonna stick because people still want to use cash. But, I don't think we ever assumed that we would accept that 3%. Like towns, as a town's responsibility.
I don't think you can eliminate cash. You have to.
Right,
yeah.
right, so let's not even go there, because we beat that horse. Yeah, oh, we'll eliminate checks?
Yeah.
I hope not. Cause I do a lot through my business, so. Anyways, long story short is, we beat this horse down. I think that we should, like, my opinion is we should accept credit cards, but not the additional fee. That should be assumed.
That should be
What
assumed by
about,
the user.
What about punch cards or, prepaid units of some kind?
Well, at one time, we were gonna scan a number.
Yeah.
So that you could just,
We've all
keep-
got the numbers now.
yeah, keep it moving.
But they're not doing anything.
No, but you would get a bill at the end of the month, so you would just cruise through. You'd scan, you'd go on, just to move things along,
Mhm.
be more brisk, but you only have two back doors to back into, so all it means is you're getting faster to the line waiting for the people, what I mean?
And then it adds extra work of sending the bill and submitting the bill in the mail and receiving the bill and.
I don't think what we have is broken, but.
No, well, and we did upgrade the software at the transfer station, so we are now using a specialized software for running tipping scales and transfer stations. It can also manage a fleet of garbage trucks if you have any ideas. But that, as far as I know, has made it a little bit easier at the transfer station that we had that specific software rather than an adaptation.
Yeah, where we were 4 to 5 years ago to where we are now is leaps and bounds. So I think now when the tweaks the stage, these guys have been great.
So does John want the credit card?
Yes,
Why don't we just do it and have everybody pay their? Like,
Well, do the fees vary between various?
There's,
Credit card
it's a
issues.
sliding percentage, so the software that we use for the transfer station has a particular credit processing software that buddies up. And then however the fees on the back end go, I would have to pull the paperwork out, but I think it's anywhere between 3 and 7%. And it's based on dollar amount and card company and all of that. And so our obligation as the town would be to post that, a whatever percentage charge, convenient processing fee is added. Which is what we do for municipal also. It just says on everything, yes, we can take your card, but you pay the processing fee.
and the, difference between a credit card and a debit card, there's a difference in the fees. There's also a difference.
Right, so we wouldn't be setting a standard fee, so to speak, we would just be alerting people that there is a fee.
There is a fee, right?
And it's a percentage.
That's a percentage.
When I was working, we decided to use credit cards at the state historic sites. And the user paid the fee, but we also found our gift shop sales went up. Because people were buying stuff because they had credit cards. Tourists don't carry a lot of cash.
Do you think people bring more garbage, John?
They might, they might,
They got their covered.
but people didn't complain because of the added fee.
No,
They were,
I wasn't thinking
I
about
assumed
complaints,
that-
I was just thinking
Yeah.
about whether there was a standardized number that we would.
no,
post,
varies
whether
on your
it's-
volume,
Yeah,
dollar volume.
okay.
Okay, what about the leachate tank?
I know very little about that. The transfer station was due for recertification. And as part of that process, it was discovered that there was water in the liner of the leachate tank. At one point, not very long ago, the leachate tank had needed to be emptied. And we had a really hard time emptying it, because no one would take the leachate from the tank. We used to bring it to Montpelier. And they are no longer accepting leachate, and so it took a little bit to get that out, so by the time that we found the water in the exterior of the tank, it was like, okay, well, like, did it just overflow a little bit, or is there actually a leak? It does appear that there is actually a leak. John is working with, forgive me, I forget if it's DEC or A&R who deals with the transfer station stuff. But he's working with those folks to identify qualified contractors who could come in and look at the leachate tank and bring some proposals for repair of the tank. Because it does need to be repaired.
We're gonna have to repair it, yeah.
We absolutely
Yeah.
have to repair it. So this is just
Yeah.
the heads up that that is coming. John is working on it. It's a known issue. In the meantime, our research is administratively complete, but they will not reissue our certification until the repair is made.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, when you discover a leak, it seems as though there'd be a timeline to tick down to. Like you'd have to have it fixed in a certain amount of time, so.
I believe that the state is looking for a proposal by the end of July. So it's, things are happening as they need to, but there will be some cost. And potentially some need to close the tipping floor. I don't know that specifically, but just while the work happens.
Where's the tank?
My understanding, to the best of my knowledge, this particular tank collects all the garbage water from the tipping floor. So I don't know where it is specifically, how easy it is to access or any of those things.
It's really nasty stuff.
Yeah.
I can't believe anybody decides it. It eats and pellets on pumps, like stainless steel.
Yeah.
Like all of them. I have a little bit of experience, but it's.
Must be really nasty stuff, with all the garbage.
Well, if he doesn't show up tonight, we can relay the message that we're supporting him, but we need more information to know what he wants.
Waiting with bated breath.
And credit cards are fine, we
Yes.
can pass on.
I gotta pass on.
Do we need a motion for that?
I was wondering the same
I
thing.
think we probably, let's do the
Yeah,
safe side.
because we're gonna have to enter agreement with the processing company.
I'll make a motion that we accept credit cards and pass the sliding fee to the consumer.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We have a hand up on iPhone 273. Who's that?
Hi, this is Sarah Ballantyne. How are you tonight?
Good.
Good.
I'm wondering, what does this mean for the properties around the transfer station having a leak?
Sarah, as far as I understand, the leak is still contained. So there's a tank and then there's a tank liner for this very reason. So there's an issue with the tank, but it's being contained within the liner and it's being pumped as necessary. To the best of my knowledge, there is no leachate leaving the containment area. And we do test those waters regularly.
Cause there are monitoring spots.
Yes, there are several
Yeah.
monitoring wells that are regularly tested.
Okay.
That was a great question.
Fair
by the way.
question.
It's,
Yeah.
and actually, I have a follow-up question. Is there a way to test our drinking water? Like you test those surrounding places? How do I go about testing mine?
Yep, so as a homeowner, you can order a well water testing kit from the Vermont Department of Health. I can email information about that to you or to Todd if you would like. Happy to do that. It's relatively inexpensive. I do it at my house.
I'll go unlock it, because otherwise
That-
this is.
That'd be great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Almost. Gonna do more than executives here.
And this door was unlocked?
No, Tim was
Tim
the
the
unlocker.
Oh,
We're done with the transfer station. Sounds like it.
I think
Gio,
so.
we jumped you, so you're up.
All right,
With that,
so
yeah.
you guys got the plan.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in a nutshell, it's sort of two different things we recommend doing with the roads. There's roads like Smedley and Litchfield, which is up off the Johnson Hill. that are largely being used. They're being developed. Litchfield's completely developed. I don't know why they don't come ask you guys to be a class 3 road. Because if the houses go all the way to the end, it's not that long. Smedley, you can see they're in the process of building a couple houses on that, and it's not very long either. So do nothing was our recommendation for those. Digger Hill, Ottomero, and Stool Brook are all passable. If in a Jeep or a 4-wheel drive vehicle, Ottomero is barely passable at this point. Sewell just has one really bad spot. We recommend just keeping those as roads. People are using them as roads, not so much Digger Hill. I don't know how much traffic that
As
is.
class 4 roads.
It's just flat board. No change of status, signage. We recommend signage on all the roads, like, Sharon has this sign that we like a version of that. We haven't settled on anything. But it would basically say, this is a class 4 road, you can proceed at your own risk. If the road gets torn up, it's like how Sharon words it, it's under discussion to close the road. So, to throw it up. And so it's kind of, I guess since they put those signs up, people are more respectful of not going back there when it's all mucky. So we would recommend something like that. And then when you get into the other roads, we recommend making them into trails. Legal trails, which would require a hearing from you guys, and a site hearing. I don't think you have to necessarily walk the road, but you have to pick a road, be there, allow the public to come, and then you can discuss making it a legal trail. In terms of legal trails, we recommend keeping the full easement. You can get a smaller easement on a legal trail. So instead of the 49.5 feet of easement, you could go down to say 6 feet if you wanted to. We recommend we got that 49.5, let's keep it. Because you can always convert these things back into roads if you so desire. But if you get rid of that full easement, then there's good luck getting that.
Yeah, getting it back. Yeah.
Right. There's question marks on some of the roads. Some of the roads are pretty self-explanatory. Highway 21, which goes off Waterman, goes into Bethel. I've talked to the folks at Selectboard Bethel, and I'm suggesting we make that into the Wildcat Trail. It's because it goes into their neck of the woods, and I think it'd be pretty cool to have that. So they're discussing what they want to do. I haven't heard back yet. That road's only unpassable at the bottom, right at Waterman Road. That's the only place that road. Otherwise, I could drive that thing in my Kona. It's that passable. But at the bottom, you can't get up there. And I did talk to the neighbor at the bottom. Sometimes I meet neighbors and talk to them. That neighbor is totally cool with a trail going up through there. And the other neighbor is Dan Kenny, who's all right with it too. So then we go to
Where does it come out in Bethel?
it's Perham Road in Bethel, so it becomes.
Bob Dean's house?
Yeah, it goes to Bob Dean's house where he used to live. It goes to this called Perham Road, and there's only 2 houses on that road, and then it connects to Christian Hill,
Oh,
right by the
okay.
interstate.
Oh, yeah, okay.
We used to ride our horses on it.
Okay.
And back then, we were able to use a buggy on it. Going up Dane Kenny's side.
I was gonna say, you have to be, because even then it would have been unpassable.
Yeah.
Right. It's kind of cool feature on that one. It's got this granite marker where it's got a B on one side and an R on the other. Apparently there was a boundary dispute between Royalton and Bethel, and they hired a surveyor to mark the boundaries. So
That's cool.
there's a few of those stones, and there's one on that road, so that's pretty cool. Putt Road was the missing road. It's Putt Road's class that goes off of Gillen Road. It's class 3, and then it becomes class 4. It was missing for a while because the state maps have the road going to the right, road goes to the left. Walter knew where it went, though he had never walked it before, so he and I went out there one night and clearly found the road. I mean, stone walls on both sides, almost all the way, very clear. But it's all completely overgrown. But interestingly enough, there's no water damage on it. Stream crossings, it's completely good that way.
Does that turn private at some point? But I get a lot of calls for Putt Road. as a-
Darien Lane comes off,
Yeah.
which is private road.
Yeah, but I know that we've done maintenance on Putt Road.
Yes,
Well, then-
because Putt Road is a class 3, and then you hit Ferry and Putt Road turns into.
Okay.
class
Right, that's +4, and then I heard private. I've driven up through there. Yeah, number of times trying to figure that out.
Is there a crash that comes on from North Road?
I never took it up to.
The
No.
state map has it going up on the North Road too, just.
Further down.
completely
Just in the wrong spot.
So you'll see, next time you're up there, you just drive to the end of Putt Road, and you'll see Barron Lane go off to the right. And then you'll see what's clearly a class 4 road. There, it's very clear. But what happens is you go about a quarter mile down, and then the road actually goes into the woods. And if you go into the woods, it's like, there's the stone walls. So if you keep following the woods road, you're not on the town road anymore. What's some of the others then?
Lafayette,
Lafayette is a bit of a problem child. We're not exactly sure where all the pieces of it are. Some pieces are pretty evident, some pieces are not. I think it would just involve walking that with the landowners and saying, where do you think the road is? Because there's some stretches, it's clear like that's the road, and there's other places like kind of uncertain. And then we have a landowner at one end of that who claims the town road is not there. There is no town road. So that could be a problem there. And there's a gully there. They're discharging water off their property onto the town road. And it's completely blown it out. There's about a
Yeah,
7
the
foot,
full road used to be, got washed completely out.
it's about a 7-foot ditch in there. And apparently it's, according to the other neighbor, they caused it when they changed the drainage. I guess when it rains a lot, the drainage they have some kind of pipe that comes shooting out like a fire hose, she said. So they're actually actively eroding the town easement. We'll get to Pepperell and Bad Boy last. Los Blue. Los Blue's got, so it's so that somebody's coming from the Post Farm Road. Somebody has improved their road, I could guess at their own expense, and it's the first quarter mile. It's really nice. There's a few trees down over it now, but they need that to reach a landlocked portion that they have. So we recommend keeping that as a class 4. And then, right when they stop their work, if you're coming from the Post Farm Road, you will not find a road. Absolutely impossible, because it's just someone logged through there, it's just this blur. If you come up from Slack Road, then you can follow it all the way, because then you just go straight and all of a sudden there you are. So same thing there at points, we know where all the road is there, but at points, if you keep walking the woods road, you're not on the road. The road actually goes into the woods, because you can see the stone walls on both sides. And there we've got an interesting thing. We have it goes the property owner on the Slack portion has built a garage across the town road. But there is about a 6 or 7 foot space that you could go through. So if we make it into the trail, we see no reason to ask them, to tell them they have to move their garage. We can just go around the
yeah,
garage.
Gerard's has been there for years.
Right, but it's still on the town.
Yeah,
It's clearly on our
Yeah.
easement.
So we had, when I first came on board, somebody wanted to run power lines out through there. And they were trying to figure out how to get them there. And they did run across the garage or a barn or something. It ran through a building.
Well, the other end had a barn in the road.
Right, on the post
On
farm.
the post farm road.
Post
right.
farm,
Yeah,
road,
they
bond-
wanted-
a bond and
And
a.
I think they own property further down, but they thought green power lines are there when we. Better. I've never walked this road, so I can't tell you anything like that, but I know that this has been brought up before as possibly being developed.
It's a nice road.
So my question is, why not just leave them as class 4 roads? Why go into the trail business and then you'll have to define what a trail is and look at what happens in Tunbridge and.
That's so. If we make them into legal trails, we can control what goes on them. Right now, they're class 4 roads. Anybody can drive on them. Any registered vehicle can drive on them,
Can try to.
can try to, right? They can, there's no way you can prohibit them. There's nothing in statute that says you can't do that. If we make them into trails, then we can be very specific. Hikers only, hikers and bikers and horses only. We can do whatever we want. There, we could even say ATVs.
And with the class 4, we have to maintain culverts.
So I've seen some, I reread statutes,
Yeah.
I've seen some people, some places it says you have to maintain culverts. I can't find that when I reread that.
We've heard that it's coming as part of the municipal roads general permit, is that it's something that's being looked at. Is if it's hydraulically connected on a class 4, you're gonna be required to maintain, to preserve water quality.
So there's few roads that would pertain to Pepperell, Waspaloo, because the stream literally runs down the middle of the road for a while, and then cuts across it.
Even
Schoolbrook has some weedy spots that will eventually become problems. And then Autumn Merrill, when it rains, there's just a ton of water just sheeting off that road, just eroding it on the class 3 side of Autumn Merrill.
We've had a property owner on Auto Mare, redirecting water on their own. To a point
In the class 4 portion.
and into the class 3 portion.
Yeah, but from the class 4 portion.
Did you guys walk out
No, from-
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, it became a legal issue and a lot of threats going on and stuff, so.
Yeah.
It was, we were talking about that.
So we walked it before July, I walked it after July. It's gotten a lot worse,
Which one?
the Autumn Merrill. And then somebody is developing on, they got power poles run. They're clearly gonna put something up.
On the Oxbow side.
On the Oxbow side. So that's, you know, it's a town resource. We think that these things are unpassable as roads, a lot of these. We'll get to Pepperell in a second. And if we just leave them as they are, like Lafayette, people are gonna keep encroaching onto our easement and doing things that is not conducive to the road. So if it's gonna be a town asset, let's make it a town asset. Let's make it a trail, let's mark it, let's invite people to come on it. People were, when we did these walks, we'd get anywhere from 12 to 20 people on a walk. People were fascinated by it. People from different towns came along. So it was kind of fun. You find cellar holes and the kind of the grand plan is we kind of map these and on a map, you could like have a QR code and go to your phone, take a picture, and the map of the road would come up, tell you how long it is, tell you where the cellar holes are, tell you where stone walls are, tell you a little history of the road if we know some stuff about it. So it could be a nice town resource. If we leave it as it is, it's just gonna be, it's there, people are gonna keep building garages across barns, ponds. And this way here, we acknowledge the turf, this is ours. And we actually don't technically own it, we just have the easement.
But you haven't talked about Pepperell, but I think Pepperell is a perfect example because it's now, you know, like a bogging destination for people with Jeeps. So when we did walk it, parts of it were impassable on foot because they have actively undone culverts and dug holes and turned it into a swamp so that they could bog through it.
One
which
part,
means that it's no longer available even as a class 4 road to hike on, or to bike on, or to ride a horse on, or
the trail.
as a
there's
trail.
two parts of that they made so boggy, they can't even get through it, so they've
Yeah.
gone around their bog.
Onto somebody
I
else's
understand
land.
that.
Onto
is a problem.
private landowners.
Yeah.
Right. So that road's, and everybody who's Larry Trottier, who's, grew up around there, and just even in the 30 years I've been in town, that road's gone to crap. I mean, it was passable, but it's not passable. And then they're continuing to use it. So they're basically destroying it. And that one is fairly noted because the stone chambers, people go on that to go out to visit the stone chambers. So that one gets a little more complicated because we recommending land swap with two of the owners at the McIntosh Pond site. One owner, because the road literally goes up their driveway to their house and then takes a left-hand turn. No one's using that section, but you could. They can't stop anybody from driving up to her house, taking a left-hand turn across her land. That's perfectly legal. There's nothing anybody can do. And so she wants to swap an easement with the town, and then Rick Schumann wants to swap an easement because what people are using now for the road is his land, but the road goes right towards his house, basically meets his front yard, and then takes a sharp right-hand turn. So he would like to swap easements. We can, if we make it into a trail, we can swap easements without a great deal of cost. If we keep it as a road, if we swap easements, it'll require surveys. And then we told Rick and the other landowner, if it has any kind of legal costs, we are recommending to you guys that the landowner pay for that. We already have an easement. You want to swap easements, then you pay for it.
You know what, Larry Trottier cornered me, and he didn't like the idea of the swamp. He says the swamp is too steep for the snowmobiles to safely use. He'd rather keep it where it is, while Schumann's.
I invited him to come to the meeting of
He
the
missed
planning
it.
commission when
missed it,
we
yeah.
made that decision. He didn't, I never heard back
Yeah.
from him. So, but yeah, he was not in favor of that, but everybody else was.
Does Vast have to negotiate their trails anyway?
Yeah,
Well, we're recommending that any vast trail be continued. We're not, that we're recommending that no motorized vehicles. So no motorcycles, no ATVs, no Jeeps, no anything, but we're okay with snow machines.
I mean, I guess my question was, if the argument is that the land swap would be too steep for snowmobiles, there's nothing that would prevent Vast from talking to the landowner to maintain the existing snowmobile trail. Because they do that anyway.
They're currently going up that steep section.
Yeah.
They're currently
They're
using.
using the steep section now.
Gotcha.
They're asking homeowners permission all over,
Yeah.
Right,
yeah,
right.
so.
Yeah, but what the problem there is that homeowners can change their mind and say, we can't use the trail anymore.
That's exactly what happened on Roads and Hill.
If it was a trail designated by the town, then there's less likely that that's gonna happen. I personally, I think we should wait and see what happens with Tunbridge. Because if they're gonna do something in the law about what you can do with a trail, we might wanna be aware of that before we go ahead and make trails. We don't currently have trails. We have class 4 roads and that's it. But if we start designating trails and then something changes, that might not be what we were shooting for.
Right.
But maybe you could do it in, roll it out in stages, like, save the trails part, to give that more time to play out.
So we'll what part of it out? Does everybody know what's going on in Tunbridge? Just so everybody knows.
they had another law, legal hearing on it.
Yeah, but he's not saying that it's not there. What he's saying is there's nothing in statute that gives the town permission to maintain
it.
trails. So he's saying that he can, since he's not giving town permission to maintain it because they're not doing what he wants.
Mhm.
Well, there's also the, can you tell what can go on these trails? Can you say no horses or no
Yeah, I
bicycles?
think
or
that's
no
one of the
ATVs?
debated legal issues.
No,
It's all about this particular landowner wanting to dictate what goes on those trails.
so he's saying, I'm not gonna give you the right to maintain that trail. Because you are allowing bicyclists on. If you don't allow bicyclists on, I'll let you maintain it. That's the whole suit. Which, from what I understand, if he wins, the legislature's likely to act. And then all they have to do is write it into statute. So, anyway, but I think you're wise that we should play this out, see how that plays out. Is there,
No,
how would you release it in stages? What were you thinking of?
Well, if you have a trail that you wanna open up, a road that you wanna open up. Or you wanna turn something, throw up a section of the road, that's one thing, but if you're gonna turn it into a trail. Then I would hold off on making that decision about, not that you wanna do it, but that you actually do it until we find out if there is gonna be a change in the law about trails. And, we don't know what they're gonna do. We
No.
can guess. But if they say, you have to maintain trails and,
well, we'd be maintaining the trails anyway. I don't see the value in waiting, but.
well, what if they say you can't maintain a trail? If they say you can't, there's no such thing as a trail and you can't maintain it in the state of.
Trails
Vermont,
exist in the statute now. They can't say trails don't
They
exist.
can change it. You just
They can
said-
change
you just-
anything, Stuart.
Yeah, I know, but 2 minutes ago you just said they could write it in, and so why go ahead and make all these changes for something that we don't have yet?
Well, what was your original timeline on, or, what were you thinking when? And giving this to us now, like, what was your idea?
What
of
was
the
my
timeline?
hope, my dream?
Yeah, best case.
I think our dream is that, you guys would say, wow, let's start holding some hearings, because it'd be too much to try to hold a hearing at the site for each one of these. That would be, you'd be driving around a lot. So I can see it, like once a month, that you show up at a road, have a hearing, see what people say. I think it also would be nice, if we not have a public hearing about this. We don't have to, but it might be nice to get feedback from the public.
I forget, did we do that before?
The only feedback we've gotten is every time we did a walk, we asked people what they thought.
But we didn't do like a academy building.
No,
like,
no.
I mean,
No,
that would be a good idea on the planning commission side, maybe.
Well, it'd be good to find out what, if people wanna have an opinion about it, what that opinion is.
yeah, on the walks, we had very, very, very few people say, throw this road out. Almost every time, everybody said, keep it,
They want to keep public access on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah,
keep it.
So my question is, if we know that people are dumping water and washing out our easement, why are we not acting?
I think that's a question for us.
Right.
I think this is.
Okay.
We don't act on a lot of things.
Well, no, I know, but
No, I mean.
I know, but when
Tom,
you're
we
speaking,
have-
you're looking
we
at
have-
Geo,
we have
I mean, I
things,
think
so-
we should be looking in the mirror about that.
Yeah.
But yeah. We don't have any road police, well, we do, but I mean, as far as the trails, like, to go and be like, this stand.
I
Who
don't
would-
think this, I think this is a great idea. I don't think it's gonna stop people from using it. However they want. I don't, unless there's some sort of enforcement. And I just don't see how they can do it unless, if there's a mechanism in place, it'd be great.
Well, if you do like they do with the rail trails, where you put posts up that
And
are
boulders,
4 feet
Mhm.
apart,
They're gonna have to be.
you can only go through it with a bicycle or horseback.
Yeah.
or on foot.
Well, we,
Um,
really only have that issue with one road, Pepperell.
But
And
Lafayette,
I'm all for that, I mean, that's a,
Lafayette's
I've spent a lot
undrivable.
of time in there.
Even if we made it into a trail, it's still undrivable. You can't drive it. Boscaloo's the same, Putt would be the same, you can't drive it. Town Highway 21, you can't get into it.
What I like about Vast is, Vast seems to work with the town really well. And they work with landowners, and then like Demi will be removing culverts, and Demi keeps a tab to them over there. And someone will say, hey, do you have one, a 5-footer, you're going over here so we have a new homeowner that's gonna let us do it. It seems like there's a really good working relationship. And I don't know how we can make this. Like, I think you're gonna get a lot of pushback. I don't think the folks who are using them are coming on walks.
No.
But they're gonna be very vocal when it comes time. I just, how are we going to, allow them to have their voice and say this is what's best?
Well, it sounds like we need a public hearing.
That's right.
what if you were to clearly mark the trails, like you say, possibly you can't find it, well, if you marked it so you can find it. Then people aren't wandering around wondering where the road is, they know it goes through that jungle. And that's where the road is. As a first step, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think, I mean, as you saw, I got the Upper Valley Trails Alliance to come with me on Boscaloo. And they gave an estimate on how much it would cost to turn that into a trail. It includes 2 bridges, by the way. And then the trail work, and they figured they could do it in a week, and I think it said like $3,900.
Yeah.
You find any grants for that?
I didn't look, because I'm not there yet.
Sometimes they have money.
Well, there is a.
That's pretty cheap too.
I thought it was pretty reasonable.
Don't they use the full program?
They use kids.
Yeah.
They use that program where you pay.
Yeah. So, yeah, they got kids, whips.
You conservation corps kids?
And if you could pick like 2 favorites, from reading through it, kind of seemed like the Wildcat Trail idea was maybe like the easiest, like most visible to make some improvements and turn it into a trail. I mean, I think it would be a reasonable ask of like, if the Conservation Commission wants to partner with like some trail money, or if we can access community betterment funds and say like, we're gonna prioritize these 2 and make improvements so that they're, like, we have these well-defined trails. And you can kind of separate the issue of classification and usability and visibility. And then when you sit down to have the conversation with the town about like, you know, hey, we're considering changing this classification, here's why. You know, you have that evidence of, we're actually doing something with this, like, here's this nice trail that folks can use.
Well, it also sounded like that road had landowner agreement that they wanted the trail there, or didn't.
I don't know, I would use the word want, but they were not upset at all
Okay,
by that.
because you could have a problem with Lafayette, with the person who doesn't recognize the road. Right.
Well, and then I think it's incumbent upon the town to make sure landowners understands that the easement exists.
Well,
Another reason to mark these out,
Yeah.
those the landowners know, this is not, there's no, yeah, you can try to say there's no road there, but you will lose, because we know there's a road there.
and I'm wondering, since these were kind of to go along with what Victoria said, since these walks were so popular, I did go on a couple of them and it was really fun. Can you do another series? Would the planning commission have the ability or willingness to host another series of this through the summer? We're going into summer now. And to perhaps make a list of dates for these roads again, to do another round of walks. And then also, I mean, I think the public meeting would be a good idea as well.
I think a public meeting and then in the invite. just, I think we might get more years.
What for the, is that in the
I would,
invite?
I would do a public meeting with the invitations. I mean, you know what I mean?
No, I'm not following.
Well, we're gonna have a public meeting eventually, right? I think that if you were advertise it well and say, we're gonna do this series again, because here's our discoveries. Would you like to, there's like, you can't reach out enough. You can't communicate enough, and if people don't come, they don't come, and that's their problem, but.
Yeah, then I'll hold a public meeting. We're talking about these roads and
Here's our,
we're gonna be walking these roads on June, whatever, blah, blah, the dates.
because just saying we're gonna go for a walk, now you have like, here's a discovery.
Yeah,
With like time estimates and things like that, and here's the cool parts of it, I think you might get more. I think you might get more people attending, and then saying, we're gonna set up a series, doing this again, you might get a different crowd. My hopes would be to get a different crowd, it's a lot of work.
yeah.
I don't know, have you gone on all of these?
I haven't gone on all, no. I mean, I walk Lost Blue because it's in my
Your
front yard,
neighborhood,
my
yeah.
front yard, basically, but. um,
Stuart, you went on one or two, didn't you?
I've been on Lafayette,
Yeah.
Cross Blue, Pepperell.
And John, you went on a bunch.
Oh, and a
I've
number
been
of
on
hot
Those are
stove,
weird.
Pepperell. 21.
I guess I would like to. Before we go into what you guys suggested, I'm not asking for you guys to take an official vote. That says you're in favor of this, but I would like to know if. If like you, if you read this and you have the complete willies and there's no way in hell you would ever let this happen. I would like to know now. But if you say, like, conceptually, yeah, this can happen, given the Tunbridge suit and other such things. I
Well,
understand
the one thing that concerns me is your statement that you're not sure where Lafayette Road goes. Okay, so I understand that. You're kind of saying it gets lost here and there. But without that information, it's hard to say where if you're gonna tag the road and say you're gonna mark it out, well, you can only mark out the sections you know. I don't know how you're gonna solve that problem.
that. Well, I think on that one, I think on the next steps, part of that, we say that what we would do is go talk to the landowners.
Mhm.
And ask them where they think the road is.
But as you said, Pot Road is clear.
Pub road's clear,
It just needs to be de-treed or,
yep,
You know,
just need a path.
I mean, having grown up on that road, I definitely know a few more people who would know that road far better than the abutting landowners.
Okay,
We rode that road as kids all the time.
so that'd be great to have.
So
it'd
I
be great
feel
to have
like
them come along as well.
it is findable and it is doable with a few, and I don't know if talking to the landowners would be the best people to say, oh, this is where the road is. Because they haven't been here that long and they have probably never really gone that
And they
road.
also have a vested interest in.
And they,
it.
exactly,
Say
they're a
where the
little
road
bit
goes.
biased on it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's a good assessment.
And like, I know a person, I was working for somebody in Northfield Falls who bought 150 acres, and then when they really find out how much land they have, it's more like 110.
yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
I like that ambiguity. It's just crazy to me. I would love to know. It'd be nice to know where everything goes. I did not go on any one of these walks, but I've been out. Medley, Sewell. Pepperell. I've been out a lot of these. Say, for a long time, when I called this, so, anyways. I think it's cool. I think it's a cool thing to answer your question, whether I'm like gung ho.
Not so much gung ho, just
I'm behind it if it was vetted a little bit clear, like we knew where.
exactly,
That's all.
as long as the ambiguity's gone. public access is a good thing, I think.
And I think. I think Steve been talking to a lot of people who are similar mindsets. I think you are getting fired back on for Pepperell, and Pepperell should be closed for all of our reasons. I mean,
And that's the one that the
Yeah.
property owners wanted
yeah,
closed because
yeah,
of the
and,
erosion.
it's just to me like, so.
And the
My,
pro-
my opinion doesn't count, but
Yeah,
it's just like, if it's getting destroyed. Because of the abuse,
Your opinion does count.
well, I mean, like, if I think it's a beautiful area, that's pretty subjective, right? I would like to, I think we gotta fire up the electric. Yeah,
So we didn't go the next stage of like finding out exactly where Lafayette is, because if I brought this document to you guys and said, we're not interested, we want to throw it up, or we're just gonna keep it a class 4 road, why would we expect the work to do that? So if I know that if you say yes, if we got some of these questions answered and knew exactly where Lafayette is, I think making it a legal trail, given what happens in Dumpty, would be a great idea. Then I think we could go to the next step and do the legwork and figure it out. But I wasn't feeling to do that extra legwork, like to approach the guy with the garage and say, you do realize that the garage is on the town road. He may or may not know that. But I'm not gonna have that conversation before I need to. Because those are harder conversations to have.
Well, I think it sounds like you should schedule a public hearing, get more input. Let's do the fine tuning of making the effort to find out where they were, so that you can fill in the blanks on this plan. And then you submit it in its final form to us, so that we can move forward.
So you're saying, like, figure out where Lafayette is.
Yeah.
In all places. So if we did that, or are you guys, again, I'm gonna come back to, are you guys conceptually in favor of moving forward? Given, we don't know where the world's gonna twist and turn, but as we're sitting here in the room now, it's like, yeah, it sounds like a good idea. I'm not asking for a vote, I'm just asking for a sort of a nod of heads that you guys are on the right track before I put any more work into. I've spent a lot of time.
Yeah.
I know you have.
Clear that you, I mean, I was just gonna say, it looks like you've done, I mean, I remember when we started this on the planning commission. And that was a while ago. And obviously, the planning commission has done a lot of work on this, and I think it's a really cool project. Again, it's like building up our town, kind of highlighting and featuring, cool things about it. I think that's great. I'm on board if you want that. I think I'm a little bit right now with what Stuart mentioned about the class 4 versus the trails. In my head right now, as I'm hearing this, the only one that really we need to like, officially make a class, a trail is that Pepperell one that's getting ruined. But the other ones that could remain a class 4 road without, just make it a trail, just like rebuild it as a trail. So don't rebuild it as a road, but continue on as a trail for now. And, because that gives us more power, right? As a class, or that's what it feels like I'm hearing. A class 4 road, we still have all the rights. I would never want you to be throwing up any of the
No, I
roads.
would
I
totally not.
definitely feel like all of those should be kept for the town.
Public access is good.
And so the trail, the only thing with the trail is that if we don't, at the head of the trail, if we don't make it accessible to vehicles, how can they? If we just make it a trail, it can still remain a class 4 road, I guess is what I'm saying. Until it gets more ironed out with this whole thing, because that does sound a little dicey. But for one, I'm into this project. I think it's a great project. Be cool.
Can you currently post a class 4 road and say no vehicular traffic?
No.
No.
Just like
Yeah.
the regular mud season time,
Yeah,
when you,
Close it season.
you can post it for like heavy.
Yeah.
Duty vehicles, but you can't post it otherwise. You can, interestingly enough, you can gate it. If someone wants to
Yeah,
have livestock go through
Yeah.
there, you can gate it, but the gate has to be, it has to be able to be opened by anybody, can't lock it. So, and to clarify, Pepperell is so bad that they have abandoned those places.
Yeah.
Where the town road is, they're now tearing up the neighbor's land to get around it.
So there's a situation that I think you could deal with it with, it's not gonna solve it, but. You need special signs that say. You know, it's not,
you're trespassing.
trespassing, it's not the right way to go off the trail,
So
so.
I know both of the landowners, and Rick Schuman being one, and Becky Folk and Tavian being the other. And I said, you can stop this. You're allowing them to go on your land. You don't have to allow this. I don't think they wanna do that. I don't think they wanna be the heavies. They'd rather us be the heavy.
But we're not gonna stop it either.
If we made it into a trail,
Boulders in front of it.
and put boulders down on the road. We just stopped it, and they can't do anything about it.
They make jeeps
But
that climb
if
boulders.
we can't boulder it because it's a town road. We can't stop access. We have to allow access.
Well, maybe we should just specifically focus on that road since it's a problem and make it, and sounds like make it a trail. I mean, it's, you guys,
That might be a first step, because I think conceptually we're all on board,
Yeah,
but
Okay,
I would pick the low hanging fruit and. Because
so that's what I wanted to hear, Tim. Conceptually, you're on board. So, so it
with
sounds like,
that one, with
With-
that one,
with-
Pepperell,
oh, Pepperell.
with Pepperell being trail.
Well, conceptually, what's the problem? If we wanna open these trails up for people to use them. Why are you so
Jojo's,
only Pepperell?
because that would be the first one to make it a trail. I'm saying the other ones don't make them a trail yet because of this problem in Tunbridge. And
I said,
continuing to have as much authority with it being a road rather than a trail with the other ones. That's all. I don't know if there's more power in keeping it a road on the town side, a class 4 road versus a
the
trail.
hope is there's more power being a trail, but that's where I want to be cautious.
Joe, you
I agree with you.
You have a question?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions that kind of tie together, but first of all those years ago when we were on the Ancient Roads Committee, I was under the understanding that we learned that if you change it down to a trail, that's not an option to bring it back up to a class 4 road at will. And the second thing is that we were looking to make sure that roads that were considered roads were kept class 4 roads if they had what would be landlocked property inside if it were closed. And so my question therefore is, has the status of the land, the properties inside the boundaries of Pepperell Road changed? Are there,
Yes.
they have?
No, so
No.
great questions, Joe. So I like that. So you'll see on there that we do have a section on there, but is there landlocked parcels on those? I think Jigger had landlocked parcels, Merrill had landlocked parcels, Sewell had landlocked parcels, Boss Baloo has landlocked parcels, but, and every road there would be, we would either keep it as a class 4 so someone could reach those parcels, or like Boss Baloo will keep part of it as a class 4 and then make it a legal trail after that, after they can reach their parcels. The exception would be Pepperell. Pepperell's, there's one landlocked parcel right in the middle, that's where the stone chamber is. It's owned now by the Vermont Land Trust, but they sent somebody on the walk. So they actually had a representative there. They're going to turn it over to the Winterbourne Center, which is a Beneke group. And she said they have no intention of driving out there. They want to keep public access out there. But they don't, they consider it sort of a sacred site. But we would definitely provide, from the Jigger Hill side. And make sure that they would have an easement to cross that part of the road. So they could access their lands, they would not be landlocked.
Thank you. That answers my question.
Yeah,
Well, I think we're out of time.
Did you get the bottom line vague answer that you needed, Jeff?
I got a vague bottom line answer, have a hearing. And then find out what folks think and then cement some of the unknown stuff. Get some of that out of there and then bring it back to you guys. I don't know if I'll do another series of walks unless somebody else wanted to take those on. Because
It's a lot.
that was, once a month for 6 months. I'm not sure I'm the guy to do it again, but maybe other people will take that on. But I think it's a cool idea. I think the two dovetail, but it's only so much time I have.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks for listening. I guess we got our walking orders. I'll say, is it fair to say at a public hearing that you guys are open to this plan as of the select board?
I think we'd have to vote on it.
Not that you accept the plan.
No, but if we're gonna
Open
get,
to it.
Well, I move that at a public hearing, we allow empower the planning commission to say that the select board is open to such a plan.
I second the motion.
all those in favor of the motion as presented?
Aye.
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 Any opposed?
Thank you, guys.
You have our support.
And you're gonna have to buy a bicycle so Loretta can patrol these roads.
Oh,
E-bike.
bicycles aren't gonna be allowed.
No motors, no motors.
Give her a horse. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Mounted patrol.
Texas,
So we got plenty of room to graze out here, so you can actually have a stable here.
All right, moving right along. Town administrator.
Yes, so on the table, the board has, the TA 60. This is an annual financial report that we have to provide to V-Trans that I forgot about. We're looking for the board to certify that we are raising, at least $300 in taxes per road mile. You've got quite a lot of margin. I'm very confident saying that you're meeting your obligations there.
We have
Looking for a
62 miles.
motion and signature.
Of town road or class 3, 2?
It's class 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, then we
That
got
we're
90,
required for any support. Yeah, yeah,
90
you're
some.
good.
So we need a motion to sign this.
I make a motion, we sign, certify the.
I'll second that.
60.
All those in favor of signing the TA 60?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Factor 100.
It's,
By a factor of 100.
it's significant, yeah. Next on my list is our friend, S55.
Is it really your friend?
No, definitely not. So S55 is a bill that makes changes to Vermont's open meeting law. It does some things that are kind of nice, like allows advisory bodies to meet virtually only unless a member of the public makes a specific request for a physical location. It also does some other not so nice things, like requires the select board and the board of tax abatement, specifically to meet in a hybrid format and post recording of that meeting for at least 30 days following the meeting. The onus of compliance is on the board. The expectation is that everyone will begin complying July 1st. And that if for some reason your municipality cannot comply, you are obligated to demonstrate the reasons why you are unable to comply with the law.
And then an interpretive dance.
Yeah, the specifics on how you need to demonstrate that you're not able to comply are lacking. Which is not very surprising. The trickiest part for us is going to be that you are also required to have hybrid format for informational meetings.
Define informational meeting.
So like ahead of the bond vote, where we have to have that informational meeting, before town meeting, where you have to have those informational meetings.
Oof.
Those are also required to be held hybrid, and the recording has to be made available.
So what is this capability?
So the owls, really designed for this meeting room. It has a microphone radius of about 12 feet, 12 to 18.
But how many can we?
Oh, on Zoom, you can have up to like 500 to 1,000 participants. There's like varying levels of Zoom. It's not the Zoom itself as much as the video and microphone technology and the internet reliability that allows people to participate in a virtual meeting, because you have to be able to allow participation. So that's the hard part. We're going to have the hearing ahead of the bond vote. I would like permission from the board to see if someone is available, probably Seth Stoddard,
Yes.
to help us with sound and Zoom and all of that, so that we can actually run an effective hybrid meeting.
So when you said that people have to be able to connect, we don't have to ensure they have a good signal, because that's up to them to have a good signal.
Right, but we have to ensure it on our end.
Right.
As, you know,
Right,
so,
but if you're using,
and that's challenging. I mean, you can't run a public meeting in the academy building with my laptop and the owl. Like
No.
it's just not gonna.
but if you got a microphone that was suitable for the room,
Sure,
you could.
sure, yes,
So during COVID, we hired Seth, we sat around, apart, and he set it up that it worked beautifully. So I recommend, he's got a
Yeah.
great recommendation.
Are our committees gonna have to do this? Recreation planning?
No, so there's a distinction in the bill. They would fall under advisory. So kind of what they're doing, so this section says advisory body means a public body that does not have supervision, control, or jurisdiction over legislative, quasi-judicial, tax, or budgetary matters. So your rec committee, your planning, all of those guys don't oversee any of that. It's really the select board and the board of abatement that touch those fiduciary and legislative.
Civil authority.
Hmm?
Board of Civil Authority.
I don't believe the Board of Civil Authority deals with financial. They're part of the Board of Abatement.
We can
But-
waive taxes, property taxes and stuff.
That's the Board of Abatement. That's not the
Okay,
Board of Civil Authority. The Board of Civil Authority is for elections.
Voter checklists and that
Right.
stuff.
Justice of the peace.
Right.
That's confusing because I thought that we were all on the Board of Civil Authority because of being selected.
You're on the Board of Abatement because of being the select board. I would have to look at it because there is some overlap between members of the Board of Abatement are on the Board of Civil Authority or vice versa, but I don't remember. Honestly, that's
I think
mostly
by default
Carmen's
we
deal.
are.
Yeah, I think Carmen was like, you have to be available for elections and you have, so I thought she was saying that.
I think it was more like you shouldn't be strong.
But they are two different boards with two different jobs. And my understanding is that the
Okay.
Board of Abatement would be subject as somebody who handles tax matters, but the Board of Civil Authority is probably not as an advisory body, but again, There is very little guidance that's been published by VLCT or anyone else. Everyone's still trying to digest this. There's other stuff in here that's more minor changes.
Where does the reporting get held? Like, how do you, like,
So,
provide that reporting?
for the town of Royalton, we have a YouTube channel.
No way.
Yeah, we sure do. I record all of these.
You look very nervous all of a sudden.
I record all of the
Yeah.
meetings and store them digitally. I'm gonna be hitting you guys next time with a request to follow the state of Vermont archivist record keeping policies. Heads up. So I do record these and store them, and then if someone requests it, I upload it to the YouTube, but it's not something that I do automatically because it's time consuming and it wasn't required.
But now-
So that part, I
We
mean,
need makeup,
But now
That's
will
fine.
we
be,
need a budget for it.
yes,
and
Yes,
what is the
it
YouTube
applies to
channel?
law.
Is it Royalton, Vermont or?
no, it's
Vermont.gov or-
Town of Royalton, there's a link to it from our webpage,
Oh.
it's available.
Never gone on it. Yeah,
Oh, my
you should check it out. You'll recognize yourself. Steph.
God. Maybe. Depends on if I have a beard or not.
Oh, my goodness.
Is this law gone into effect or is it still?
It starts July
July
1st.
1st.
It's been passed by the legislature and signed by the governor.
Yeah, same governor was trying to get rid of TikTok.
I don't know anything about that. But yeah, that's all I have for S-55.
That's good.
It sounds like enough.
It's plenty.
It's not even the tip of the iceberg of the 30
So-
bills that went through the legislature on their last day.
So do you think you're gonna need new equipment for,
You know, I don't, for this space,
No.
no.
for the academy?
For the academy building. Maybe, but then you kind of get into the cost benefit of how expensive it would be to have. A system that could adequately capture that room.
That might-
Versus the cost of just contracting it out and hiring it out to somebody. who
Yeah, but
it's
I mean,
more special.
stuff may not be available.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
what do we do? We break the law.
Go with what you got.
Wow.
Wouldn't it be possible to make a handheld microphone available and people would have to use that if they're in the room?
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole slew of things that we can try and look at. It's not anything I've invested a ton of time in. It was really just like the immediate need of solving this next problem that I know is coming. And in this case, if Seth is not available, if we don't have the technology, then we have good cause to say, listen, we're aware of the law, we've done our due diligence, we attempted to be able to comply, and we're not able to comply because of technology reasons. You know, and then we've done the best we could. You know, if we don't have the technology, we've attempted, it didn't work, you know, that. It's a good faith effort at compliance.
It'll only work a few times, I think.
Yes, but it'll work the first time. You know, there's only so much you can pull off in a 30-day span. So,
Okay.
well, yes, we will attempt to comply.
Deal with it as it comes.
Make a motion to approve the warrants.
I'll second it.
All those in favor of approving the warrants, we've already approved them.
I think we did, basically.
Aye.
Aye. Approve the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for our last meeting.
No.
I'll second that.
And all those in favor,
Aye.
Aye.
any discussion? I guess
Too late.
there wasn't any. Ongoing business, Act 250, any news on the Act 250 gravel pit?
Well, you said that Rob Townsend he reached out to you?
I called him and left him a voicemail as a last ditch.
And he actually
Please don't
responded to
write
it?
me an RFQ, and he did call me back, and he said, I have Patrick Dakin on my list of people to get a hold of today, as if he had called me. And I said, yeah, well, you can check him off your list at the same time, because we're functionally the same in this instance. He did say that he would send a quote, and cost proposal
And actually call me sometime.
for the work, yeah, hopefully,
Okay,
yeah, so. Hopefully, if I don't see anything from him by the end of the week or get back in touch with him, then I will put out an RFQ.
Okay.
But at this early stage, it was like. The time difference of making one last attempt to contact the same engineer was less than or equal to putting out the RFQ, so. we
No,
went with
that's-
it.
that's fine. Thank you.
I have not heard anything from Dave this week. Dave Parker. Have you got any news on?
I don't have any updates. I'm assuming that means that everything is currently compliant. I do know that Dave was out of town, recently, but I will circle up with him about it.
Okay, I do see that we have a legal bill about the Pleasant Street situation, so that goes on the ongoing,
A legal bill?
yeah, ongoing total of our, how much it's costing us.
My guess would be that Rita booked it to the health officer expense line, but I don't know.
Yes, I did.
Thank you.
Why do we have a legal bill? What is that?
Consulting with, you know, what do we need to do to get this situation
Oh. A
headed
couple
in the right
meetings, yeah, okay.
direction? Yeah, all that, and it took a month for that to come in, but
And Dave got to talk to the lawyer.
we did. We talked to the lawyer, and Dave was there, yeah, you talked to him. Yeah. He did.
I was, I was a meeting, it was a meeting that I was sick for a couple.
No, it was on the phone,
Yes, I think they decided to do that, the meeting that you were out. Stuart, Todd's got a hand up.
Todd,
Is there a way to get a hold of David through our website? I know I'm on there as the constable. I get calls a fair amount thinking I'm the same person. So Is there-
Yep, or it's health officer at royaltonvt.gov. But there's a link on our website. I don't know if David's email is there or if it links out to the Department of Health. Because particularly when they changed rental inspections from being town health officer to DPS. It might just be a link. I would have to double check what is there, but yes, it is possible to find the contact information for the health officer via the town's website.
thank you. I'm sure he doesn't want me handing out his cell phone number to people.
Yeah, no, if you need to, health officer at royaltonvt.gov.
Thank you very much.
can they also contact you, or is that too much?
I mean, they can, but then I just kick it to the health
Yeah,
officer.
you're just gonna relay it. Yeah.
We get that every once in a while.
I'm just
It's
thinking it
fine.
might be, better to say, we can pass the message along. Personnel policy, we already talked about that. Your message this afternoon.
Yeah, so there's a lot to digest. I'm hoping we can put it on as an actual agenda item in the near future.
Yeah, so our homework is to review that policy. That's for all of us.
I got some email about it, yeah.
Yeah, just,
I haven't had time to
yeah.
read it
No,
yet.
no,
It's
no.
for
Yeah.
next,
No, I didn't read it
Yeah.
all.
Yeah,
next
no,
time,
it's-
we'll put it on
it's
the
a lot.
agenda.
Yeah.
Any other business?
Yes, no, you first.
No.
I have three, so.
I have two.
Okay.
I have one.
Who's got one?
All right, so one goes first.
Hey, Loretta, did you go on back River Road this last couple of weeks?
Yep, the sign's broke and, I did see that. That's out there at the farm, but we have been spending time out there. I mean, obviously traffic is picked up, but couple of people got stopped and, but we made more of a presence out there.
We did get approval to put the temporary bridge in, but that won't happen for a while, but
That's great. Do we
I
have,
can't wait to see what a temporary
have any
bridge
idea?
looks like.
how long? will it be?
Be there for a while.
Will it be
Spring.
this
Yeah.
spring, next spring?
Fine.
Okay,
Temporary
that was,
bridge.
that was my real question. Is it happening this construction season?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, I would have been surprised, pleasantly so.
Yeah, and I'm not aware of all of the specifics of how that needs to be permitted, but the White River is a navigable river.
Yes,
so
it
it's
is.
Subject to Army Corps of Engineers.
Oh, yes, it is.
Which is probably adding some time on permitting. Would
Got your 401 and your 404. Yeah,
What's a navigable river?
It means you can use a boat on it.
yep.
Put your canoe in.
A nice shallow
It
boat.
means the feds have jurisdiction.
Yes.
It's the short answer.
Yeah.
So you don't have to deal just with the state, you have to deal with the feds.
You have two.
I have two. One's special, but,
Mm.
so the first one is easy, David Brandau is retiring, slash stepping down as the Royalton rep to the Two Rivers Ottaquechee Planning Commission. So,
He's been in a long time.
he's been in it a long time. And he and Peter Gregory approached me to ask if I would be interested to take his spot as the Royalton rep. And yeah, but that requires that all of you, since I would have to recuse myself, agree to appoint me as such.
I would make the motion, we appoint Patrick as a rep to the Two Rivers,
I would second that.
a willing sucker.
How much time commitment is that?
Just to be the rep is at most once a month, but they don't meet every month. David was also on the executive committee. But someone else who is a longer standing rep has expressed interest in moving up. So that would be absolutely once a month and maybe a little more, but to be the rep is, because they don't meet in the summer.
Meet all the time.
Yeah, they don't meet all the
Are you now are you an alternate? Who's the alternate? Are you?
time. I don't know, do we have an alternate?
I don't believe we have an alternate.
Okay, so you didn't have a position that
I did,
was vacated.
it was vacated. Yeah.
You want it.
I'm willing, yes.
Don't we have a motion on the floor?
Yeah, the motion is
Still discuss.
is whether we want to appoint Patrick as the representative.
Did I leave the room? Is there other things you want to say?
No.
Well, there are things.
We'll say that right.
Good. It's like
All
my
those in
family.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed?
Thank David for his years of work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Many, many years. And frankly, having our rep on the executive committee, I think was helpful.
good.
It was very helpful. So,
Is your second one an executive session?
yes,
Okay, mine's not.
okay, it's okay.
Alright,
So I just, if we can get evaluations out. Sometime in the next, between now and July 1st would be great. And if anybody wants to sit in with me and Debbie. Or I would like to sit in with somebody if you offer, so
Yeah, what are your dates?
I don't have a date yet. I need Demi to do his.
Good people.
And
I have Demi's, Tim.
You have.
He
you got-
dropped him on my desk yesterday. I
Wow,
have them.
excellent, so I can make a
Oh.
date now.
Can you send forms out to those of us who need them or?
I sent the form to everybody. I can
Yeah.
send it again.
All right,
Almost, yeah, I
That
wasn't
was
the only.
very-
You're not the only one.
Secondly,
Hey,
guardrails,
Just
Yeah.
for a moment, so you were waiting for Demi to submit all of his before you,
before I go to
before you
Demi,
met with
Review,
Demi?
yeah.
You don't review,
I
Come on.
reviewed Demi, but.
but
he-
you don't review the ones Demi does. do you?
Well,
I
he
mean, this
gives-
is
he
just
gives-
my own
No,
edification.
he gives me feedback. Like. He gives me feedback. And so, when I first started, I thought. Generally speaking, it was unrealistic. And
He
so
gives you
I,
feedback
I told him, I said, be a little bit more like
Feedback.
Of his workers.
of his.
Of
crew.
his crew.
Correct,
Of
of
his crew.
yeah.
And then at the end, like, I think that we have, points of emphasis, I think we should all have, we should discuss before we discuss with the department heads. Points of emphasis, like, what do we think? I think that should be an executive session.
Okay.
Like, just like, what do you hear? You know, roads are this, roads are that, roads are this, we should do this, we should do that. What's the common theme, like, and I don't think we should be more than three. Last year, like Victoria was a rock star with FEMA stuff, and we got knocked out by the January event, and then a snowstorm in December. So those are like above and beyond, but generally speaking, how are you doing? What are you, when I said, here's our what sort.
Right.
Here's your strengths, here's what we need improvement on,
Yeah,
here's what we'd like to emphasize a little bit more. And it could be, and I'll be. Can we have an executive session on this next meeting?
it was gonna be my next suggestion, actually.
So let's do that.
Okay,
Next thing is. Victoria had another great suggestion is that instead of we do a ride around the guardrails. It would be entertaining to go with Demi and Chief and myself, because.
because that
It'd
is
be a road trip.
entertaining,
That should be on YouTube.
that, I was gonna say, that should be on the channel.
But I think. We could go through Two Rivers and Rita and it sounds like she has time maybe in the fall.
Yes, she told me they've got an intern who's on culverts right now and would probably be very interested in a change of scenery by the fall, so.
So because
Some
I
culverts.
think that we would make
Right.
recommendations and then it would like just we're all busy, just.
Right, well,
keep that
and so just to be clear. What is available through Two Rivers is a guardrail inventory, which will just be, here's the guardrail, here's what type it is. Here's any, distinguishable features about it, just an inventory. They will not make recommendations.
But and I think it gives us. A list that we can prioritize. Because some are legally like finding, and we've gotten stung before.
Yeah.
For not being compliant.
But will Two Rivers be able to say, this one is sunken way down into the ground, not that they're telling us what to do?
I think
but-
that when that. comes
Yes,
down,
so when it comes through as an inventory, it will kind of be that description. Yeah, of,
Okay, okay.
any notable.
The quality, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
that's
And
a
then
good idea.
last thing is, we had the sidewalk meeting yesterday. Yesterday.
Monday?
maybe?
Yeah, yesterday.
It was yesterday, and it was really good, and Walter and Victoria, kudos to them for making some really nice suggestions. I think sometimes when you get these update meetings and they're Zoom, I think it's kind of rehashing some stuff and confirming some things. I think it was really. I think we made some really good changes to try to bring costs down a little bit, but to also make it more user friendly. And it was a great meeting. It'd be a Hail Mary, it'd be a miracle for it to happen next summer. But following is more likely. Which is a bummer.
Yeah.
Because our sidewalks are deteriorating. But
As we speak.
as we speak, the next freeze-thaw cycle is gonna like just pop out. Anyways, those are my three.
They are deteriorating, they are deteriorated.
Seeing that John just came in, we're gonna jump back to. Transfer station.
It's doing
Um,
a job.
So we,
I'll say mine.
oh man. How many did you say?
Yeah.
I'll be quick.
Well, we already got the,
We got the thumbnail.
yeah, from Victoria about credit cards, and we agree that that was okay to. Do that as long as we pass along the fee. To the customer. And leachate tank.
So it's leaking somewhere, I believe. We're good to go on the 10-year recertification. We're good till August. I gotta have it dug up and inspected. I'm trying to find a company that will do it. So that's where I'm at.
Do you have a deadline when that has to be done?
Okay.
July, August.
At least an update by August. Cause by the end of March, we were administrative complete. So we're good to go, we can stay open, and then. I told them. Hopefully, if I find a company that can dig it up and inspect it. We should be good to go by August, September. He just wants an update by August and. Yeah, so I'm just gonna find a company and dig it up and inspect it.
Is there a drop dead date at which she will not be okay with just an
That
update?
wasn't mentioned,
Okay,
so. I don't think he's gonna be a hard ass about it.
Because there's a backup to there's a backup.
Yeah, cause the liquid's only in the liner. So it stops at 6 inches. So it's not, it doesn't get any
It's
higher.
not leaking out.
So I don't know if it's coming out of the pipe going in or coming out of the ground or what. So this has to be dug up and inspected and go from there.
And that's under tipping?
No, a little grassy area to the right, if you're looking at the back. And there's PVC pipes sticking up out of the ground. That's the pipes goes down into it.
So it services the old dump? The mound on that?
No, it's the liquid that comes off the tipping floor.
Oh, okay, all right.
Goes in that tank. The mound has their own tanks around it. Yeah.
Anything else for us?
No. I could make it.
Fully staffed?
yeah,
Fully staffed?
Yeah,
Excellent.
great.
Wayne
Oh.
called out today, he's not.
Hey, did you need to give the reviews to him? Does he need to?
We need reviews from your
Oh, yeah, I haven't done them yet.
employees, yeah,
I'll do them this week.
okay.
Next time. By the 20th. By next week.
I'll do it this week. All right,
All right. Loretta, is there
Thank
something that
you.
you
Go
need?
save some more lives.
Yeah, thanks for those lives.
Can you be open 7 days a week?
no,
No, I thought there was something last week, but you weren't here. but,
I
Okay,
don't think so.
Brad, nothing?
I mean, I could give you some. You have a meeting coming up. Yeah.
Yeah,
19?
Yeah, the 19th is Saturday.
Make a motion, you go to.
I would make a motion that we go to executive committee.
And who
For
needs
what
to be here
purpose?
for that besides us? Victoria?
Loretta,
Loretta, okay.
Victoria,
For personal pleasure?
yes,
is it legal or personal?
personal,
Okay.
personnel.
Personnel, sorry. Is Victoria staying?
I don't know the,
I wouldn't,